Good afternoon and welcome to Chargers Outside Zone. I'm Chuck.
I'm Thomas, and today we'll be talking about who the Chargers missed in the third round.
Fourth round.
Fourth.
Yeah, look. During the press conference, both Brendan Staley and Tom Telesco mentioned some people at the top end of the fourth that they may have missed on, and so we wanted to take a look at that briefly. Really only like talking about players on the team. This is the one brief moment that we'll take a look at what may have been.
What may have been.
And some other news. But let's get into the show.
Yes.
Reminder and our disclaimer as always, this is a father-son hobby where we try to focus on team building. We are not experts. We don't talk about gambling or betting, so no lines, and
no hot takes.
And no hot takes.
Which we have done pretty well in.
Yeah. All right.
But it's not the season yet, so.
First bit of news that we wanted to touch on, more of an NFL subject, and that is the NFL international games.
Yes.
I think the big takeaway here is
the
no Chargers games overseas.
No Chargers games, and we get to keep all the home games. Also, the Broncos, as you can
divisional
see,
opponent, the Denver Broncos have to make a trip over to London to visit Wembley Stadium.
The Duval Jaguars, or the Jaguars.
Yeah.
As they love to call themselves. Up there across the pond in London, mate.
And that'll be about week 7 or week 8-ish, maybe. I haven't really looked at the calendar, but decent way into the season.
One of the people said around Halloween time.
Yeah, it's October 30th.
So
the day before Halloween.
I don't know where that falls.
Yeah, I think it's probably around week 8, which means their bye will be week 9 because all these teams will have bye weeks
early buys
after traveling to London or Munich, or I'm not sure about the Mexico City since it's in Central Time Zone. So we'll go through the games real quick. You have the Vikings at Saints being played in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yes.
Be able to watch that in the morning on NFL Network on October 2nd. The Giants face the Packers once again.
Which is the Packers' first time being in London. Aaron Rodgers' first time as well.
Nice. I did not know that. Thank you for that bit of information. So the Packers, their first trip to London to play in an international game, they'll do that at, once again, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, October 9th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. And then October 30th, as we mentioned, you get the Denver Broncos facing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Which I'll be watching because it's a divisional opponent.
Yeah. Then later in the season, November 13th, you have the Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Munich, Germany, playing in Allianz Arena, home of Bayern Munich.
Yes.
Once again, an NFL Network matchup there.
Which Tom Brady has done very well overseas.
I didn't know that either. He probably has a decent record everywhere he plays, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
And
then finally, the last international game. This one in Mexico City.
Around the playoff. We figure out the playoff.
Yeah, this will be when the playoff picture's kind of coming together. November 21st. This one will be Monday Night Football on ESPN.
That's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah, that'll be a great matchup. San Francisco versus Arizona Cardinals. Should be a great game. But that is the international games. Like I said, my biggest takeaway is that
there's no Chargers games.
The Chargers don't have to travel overseas to play a game.
It's great. We have all our home games and the beautiful SoFi Stadium.
All right, so moving on to Chargers news.
Chargers news.
Where we left you on our last podcast, if you made it to the back end of that one, this was the list of draft picks that the Chargers made. And the one thing that we highlighted is we probably did not see an edge 3 on the roster. Not drafted, not signed in wave 1 of free agency.
But in wave 2.
Yeah, so we'll get here to post-draft, second wave of free agency. One thing about this portion of free agency, none of these signings count against you for compensatory picks. So wave 1 free agents, those go into the formula, the calculation. Wave 2 post-draft, not part of the compensatory picks.
I
don't think compensatory picks are overly concerning for the Los Angeles Chargers this year. Maybe in future years, they may look at that, and I couldn't tell you the reason why they waited until then. But they went ahead and filled a need at cornerback.
Another corner.
Yeah, we had
great cornerback depth.
Yes, we had thought that the 2 draft picks were added to the room to maybe address some cornerback. But they went out there and got a vet to improve, not the bottom end of that room, but maybe
the middle
of it.
The middle of it.
Yeah. Bryce played for the Bears. I've seen some highlights.
Yes.
More slot?
More slot.
Nickel corner.
A thing that we need to realize is the Chargers have a very good business about this draft or this year.
Yes.
They're focused on the defense, which is also they're focused on taking the ball away.
Yeah, I mean, it would be tremendous to get that defense off the field with some turnovers, maybe in some plus territory for the offense, shorten the field.
Yes.
But yeah, getting after
Patrick Mahomes twice a year, getting after Russell Wilson.
Yeah, getting after those guys with the rush, and then the back end, the secondary, getting some turnovers, right?
Yes.
Which brings us to that edge 3 that we had mentioned, and the Chargers went ahead and signed outside linebacker Kyle Van Noy, previously of the Patriots, who spent 1 year in Miami and then back to the Patriots again.
Which also he lives in lives in LA during the off season.
Yeah, he mentioned where he spends all of his off seasons in LA.
So great news for us.
Yeah, and great news for Kyle Van Noy. I mean, to be able to have a house, be situated in an area where your neighbors and your family is adjusted to spending a portion of the year there, and then to be able to sign a contract with the Los Angeles Chargers and be there year round.
I'm just happy he didn't sign it with the Rams.
Right. And yeah, and for him to pick the Chargers when really the Chargers need that. And one thing that I've been thinking about since this signing took place.
Yeah.
How lucky is Chris Rumpf, edge 4, and some of the younger guys, practice squad that might be outside linebackers, to have not only Khalil Mack come in,
a championship mindset come in.
Yes.
Not only for the linebackers, but for the entire team.
For the entire team, the championship mindset, as you mentioned, is very important. But I mean, for Chris Rumpf to get to learn from Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Kyle Van Noy, and even Kyle Van Noy helping out the off-ball linebackers potentially.
Yeah.
Drew Tranquil, Kenneth Murray, Troy Reeder, all those every linebacker in the building just benefited from this move, I think.
Yes.
And Kyle Van Noy talked a lot about versatility, fitting into a Brandon Staley defense.
Brendan Staley also mentions a lot chess pieces.
Yeah, chess pieces. And, to be able to, have one look pre-snap and then shift around and have
multiple front defense.
Yeah, and have a Kyle Van Noy, switch from one position where the quarterback's thinking he's going to be, or he's going to rush, or he's going to do this, and to switch it up. Awesome. Great addition.
Yes.
Love the signing. Absolutely love the signing. Any other comments about either one of those signings?
We filled all our needs.
Yeah, I think
technically.
I think this defense is for this year heading into OTAs is pretty well rounded out. I think you would be maybe there'll be another signing, maybe there won't. I just think it would be hard to find another addition.
We have a competitive defense.
Definitely. And then in one other bit of news, the Chargers on Monday went ahead and declined the 5th-year option for Jerry Tillery.
I mean, that's news, but that's not.
It's news in the fact that, this really gives Jerry Tillery incentive to go out there as part of a rotational defensive front, play well. If he plays well, then, the Chargers can take a look at franchise tagging him. If he plays well, he can, if they don't franchise him, he can enter the free agency market. The other thing is, just a go ahead. They declined it. That probably short term isn't very exciting for Jerry Tillery, not having that large contract waiting for him next year. But let's see.
Let's see.
So I approached Thomas with an idea, a couple of days ago. Having watched both press conferences for Brendan Staley and Tom Telesco, one of the things that jumped out at me during those press conferences was they both clearly admitted that there were players that came off the board ahead of their pick at 123 in the 4th round that they felt like they missed on.
Which, honestly, they had enough draft ammo to trade up.
Yeah, it's one of those...
If they wanted.
Yeah, it's one of those things where those 7th-round picks don't carry very much value. Maybe the other teams ahead of them, entering day 3, they had their game plans together. They knew who they were going to take, and maybe there wasn't a lot of interest from those teams early in the round.
Yes.
On trading back. But so we wanted to take a look at that. And
yes.
And this slide, shows picks 106 through 122.
All the draft picks in the 4th round.
Yeah, and just for the audio podcast, I'll go through them real quick. Starting at 106, Buccaneers take tight end Cade Otton. 107, Texans take running back Damian Pierce. Browns at 108 take defensive tackle Perrion Winfrey. 109, Seahawks cornerback Kobe Bryant. 110, Ravens offensive tackle Daniel Faalele. 111, Jets offensive tackle Max Mitchell. 112, Giants tight end Daniel Bellinger. 113, Commanders safety Percy Butler. 114, Giants safety Dane Belton. 115, Broncos corner Damari Mathis. Broncos went back-to-back here, going defensive tackle Awuza Rike out of Iowa State. Jets defensive end Michael Clemens, Texas A&M. Vikings corner Akileb Evans, Ravens at 119, Jalen Armour Davis, corner out of Alabama. 120, Panthers linebacker Brandon Smith. 121, Patriots DB Jack Jones. And finally, the Raiders moved ahead of the Chargers. And
To get a
122
running
took
back.
running back Zamir White out of Georgia. Now, catch
Take
my
a-
breath after that.
Take a breath.
When you look at this list, the first thing that jumps out to me is I don't think the Chargers would have been interested in safety, having taken JT Woods in the third round. So really the two safeties, they kind of fall off the list. Next, when they talk about Isaiah Spiller, what they were looking for in Isaiah Spiller, going ahead and drafting a running back right behind the Raiders taking Zamir White, kind of gives you a hint that they weren't disappointed that those running backs went before them. So that takes the safeties and the running back. It didn't look like tight end was a position of interest after Gerald Everett. Yeah, Donald Parham, Gerald Everett, Trey McKitty. So tight ends, they didn't look like they were headed in that direction.
Yes.
When they talked about Tito Agbanya from UCLA, their fourth pick, the next one in the draft, they seem pretty happy. So I'll take the defensive line off of this. Perry and Winfrey, and the others. I don't think they were looking there.
Yes.
And the corners that went in and around, except for Kobe Bryant. I think Kobe Bryant stays on the list. The other ones, Damari Mathis, Jack Jones, Akilab Evans, Jalen Armour Davis. I think those guys, I don't think they would have had interest in those corners. At this point in the draft, knowing that they had done a lot of research later on in the draft.
Yes.
And, they seem pretty happy with that linebacker room. So once again, linebacker Brandon Smith from Penn State, I think he falls off the list. And I really think when they talk about a group of players coming off the board in the fourth round, I think they're talking Kobe Bryant and then offensive tackles Daniel Faalele and Max Mitchell.
But our offensive line was taken care of.
Yeah, I think though they had their eyes on these guys when they said, okay, we're going to take Zion Johnson over a Trevor Penning because we think we can get Zion Johnson at 17 and then maybe hit on a tackle later in the draft.
But we also got a Georgia player.
Yeah, and so when Daniel Faalele, Max Mitchell were off the board, they went ahead and took running back, and then that's why you draft somebody that looks more similar to Zion Johnson than looks like a right tackle in Jamari Sawyer.
Yes.
Now
I like the Georgia pick that we made.
Yeah, this is
because it also gets a championship level mindset.
he does bring a championship ring to the team from University of Georgia, so that's definitely a benefit.
Level mindset, but it matters a lot to me, the tape, other than what you could. I weigh tape more than what you could become.
Right. Well, I think in this instance, if the Chargers would have landed a Faalele, a Mitchell, you have a clearer path to a starting line, that would go left to right. Rashawn Slater, Matt Filer, Corey Lindsley, Zion Johnson and one of these two tackles long term. I think a Jamari Sawyer, great pick where he was taken round 6, pick 195. Awesome pick. Glad he's a Charger. I just think it's a little more confusing and muddy on what your starting 5 offensive linemen look like.
Yes.
But yeah, so
But
I don't know. You tell us if this was a fun little exercise. We won't cry over spilt milk anymore. We'll move on and move forward.
yes. Move forward into the season.
Now,
Lastly, this is the training schedule.
correct. This is the off-season program dates. In the highlight here is Phase 3 OTAs beginning May 23rd. It is voluntary. You see here on the screen Chargers OTAs May 23rd and 24th. Day off, then May 26th. Couple days off, May 31st, June 1st. Day off, then June 3rd. 2 days off, then back June 6th and 7th.
And
1 day off, and then June 9th. So there's 9 voluntary OTA days. Let me read this real quick. Phase 3 consists of the next 4 weeks of the program where teams may conduct a total of 10 days of organized team practice activities or OTAs. No live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted.
which I think Brendan Staley gets.
Yeah, they all get...
Most head coaches get this.
Yeah, and I really think...
There's one in particular that didn't.
Yeah, I think there was a coach last year that struggled with the idea around some of this.
But most don't.
Yeah. So voluntary workouts, I kind of think that you're going to see near 100% participation.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of excitement around this team. I think
there's always been excitement around this team.
Well, I think the excitement is building.
But
And I think you also don't have any contract things. You know, Mike Williams is signed. There's unlikely to be somebody holding out.
yeah,
And yeah, I think the team's going to come together. I think they're going to push towards 100%.
Very nicely.
Yeah, I think they're going to push towards 100% participation. We'll see. Maybe there's somebody that doesn't come to practice. But yeah, should be interesting. I'm excited about May 23rd. I'm ready for OTAs to start. There won't be all that much of exciting news, but you know, it's that next phase, that next step as we walk our way towards the start of the training camp and preseason and regular season.
Yes. Now preseason doesn't really matter, but it does at the exact same time.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say?
There's some Raiders news.
A little bit of Raiders news came out today. Apparently, President something or other.
Yes, President
Dan Ventrell is no longer with the Raiders organization. We will have no further comment at this time. Per Mark Davis, owner, Las Vegas Raiders.
That's owner speak for let's not talk about it.
Let's not.
Let's
But you didn't want to listen to him, did you?
it's divisional news.
Divisional news. So yeah, a little bit of turmoil in Raiders camp.
Yeah.
So with that, we will see you on Tuesday.
Happy Mother's Day as well.
Make sure to wish your mother a happy Mother's Day and take care of your wife and that's about it.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at LAC Outside Zone, on YouTube at Chargers Outside Zone, email us at chargersoutsidezone@gmail.com and join us every Tuesday and Saturday for another episode of Chargers Outside Zone. Thank you and have a great day. Happy Mother's Day.
And also hit that like button and subscribe.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.